That's Jessica. Where she stays with them in this kind of a community living type of house. She brings along her pet dog, which belonged to Khalil, her pimp. When she disappears 5 days later, and she goes to Long Island, and I talked to the last person who saw her alive. She's now living in another country. I located her and spoke to her at length. That dog was left behind, tied up in a rope in the house. The other occupants got ticked off because the dog was not being treated right, and they had to get rid of the dog. And she claimed, this girl, that the dog was given to some policeman who drove up and asked for the dog. The dog ends up back in the hands of Khalil. Nobody knows why. Nobody's investigated it properly as to why. And the police indicated that they thought Khalil, this pimp, was a perfectly honest person. That's the investigation of Jessica Taylor. If you wonder why I believe it for so many years before Shannon's case. I also, this isn't where it stopped. I also, by sheer coincidence, some people out in Hollywood asked me if I would step in and help a person they were doing a story about. They were investigating up in Buffalo. Some Hollywood writer said to me, "Would you help us? We're trying to find out if this girl, we're trying to prove that this girl was murdered." Her name is Amanda Winkowski. Amanda's a beautiful girl. There she is. And Amanda was a sex worker. Amanda was found in 2009 in the wintertime in a garbage can, naked, stuffed upside down with the top on it. The medical examiner there, another one who works for the police department, ruled that it was an accidental death because she had heroin in her system. She was a heroin addict. She knew how much heroin she should take every day. She was a long-time heroin addict. They ruled it an accidental death. The mother struggled for years to have it declared a homicide, to no avail. They called me and asked me to step in and help out. So I went to Buffalo to help this poor family, again, pro bono, with my own business. I stepped in and I made a motion in court to set aside the finding. The judge said, statute of limitations ran out, tough luck. I had 5 experts over the years, their reports, 5 of them, including the current one, say she was murdered. Some of them world-renowned experts. The court ignored that and said, nope, statute of limitations. I appealed it. I went to Rochester and I appealed it, and we lost again. But Amanda Winkowski is important here for a different reason, not just because I did the work. But it turns out that her mother, Leslie, was close friends with Melissa Barthelme's mother. And the reason they were close friends, I didn't know this when I took the case. We just talked when they discovered this. The reason they were close friends because their respective daughters were co-workers as sex workers. They worked together, Melissa Barthelme. And they both together flew out to California in working for the sex trafficking organization up in Buffalo that had connections in Suffolk County and had connections with the girls who were killed allegedly by Bitroff. They were flown out to California to train as sex workers for the Hollywood stars, to service the Hollywood stars. And the bottom girl, as they are called in the business, the girl who recruits and trains for this large organization, they're organized like a managerial operation, big time with the internet. This sex trafficking bottom girl who did the work to recruit them, I talked to her, I got a hold of her in the Midwest, where she lives now. And she confirmed everything I'm telling you. They flew them out there to train them to service Hollywood stars, and the bottom girl was servicing a Hollywood star whose name I won't mention. Weeks before Shannon went to her death, Shannon flew out to California. We don't know why. Approximately the same time, roughly speaking, within a year or so, that Amanda had flown out there with Melissa Barthelme. And we all know what happened to Melissa Barthelme. Do you think there might be a connection within the sex trafficking organization? Somebody ought to look at that. That sex trafficking organization is vast. I've learned more about this than you can imagine fast. Like I said, the magma that first comes out of the volcano, it's spread everywhere. The filth covered over with a thin crust of respectability like a Hollywood star, or a police chief, or a banker, or a fireman. That thin crust of respectability. We've investigated far and wide the famous oasis in Smithtown, where there's a list of 140 significant people who would go to Oasis and engage in multiple sex behavior, big parties at that Oasis, and they refuse to give up. We've subpoenaed, we can't get the record that has 140 names. It's being covered up by Suffolk County. One or two more things, and we'll take a break, and then we'll come back with the surprise.
Drop the mic a little bit.
Okay?